Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf, Nedarim Samach. We are holding on to Testament Beis at the third line from the bottom of the Amud. Gufa, let's go back to the halacha. Omar Rabbi Chanina, Tirsa, that was his name, quoting Rabbi Yanai, Omar Rabbi Yanai. What happens if he has a batzal shel teruma, a teruma onion? Onion is something that you plant and then generates additional offshoot, but the actual original onion does not disintegrate, does not decompose. So he took this batzal of teruma, replanted it. Wasn't supposed to, but did it. Shenatoi, he planted it. Verabu gidula valikara, and the offshoots, the added growth, surpass in quantity the original onion. So perhaps it's batal b'roiv. Mutter, yes, indeed, we say the gidulim are separate, unaffected by the original onion, although they come from there. They grew out of the original onion. They have their own identity. They are not teruma. Of course, they are tevel. So when it says mutter, it means, although you can't really eat it, but it's mutter to a Yisrael. It's not teruma. You have to separate the teruma, the maser, like any other unattended produce. But it is no longer teruma, because the gedulim are unaffected by the original, and in fact the entire thing becomes mutter, even the original. It's batal. Lememra. Do you mean to say the gedulei heter malinase isur? That's something which grows, even if it's something growing from isur. They are called gedulei heter, and they are ma'ale. They are mevatel the original isur. Is that the shita? Is that what we're saying? Rather than look at it differently and say, well, what generated, what produced this offshoot, this offspring, the original teruma? Perhaps all subsequent growth now identifies with the original and is asur. Quite the contrary. We look at the gedulim as separate from the original, and actually, if there are more than him, they are mavatal him and make it all mutter, non-teruma. Is that so? Vatanan, we have a Mishnah in Mesechas Trumas that it is not so. Gidule teruma teruma. There is a din midrabanan, a knas, a penalty. We don't want the, for instance, the kain to hold on to teruma tameh, which he can't really consume. He'll hold on to it in order to replant it. And as he's doing so, he might actually end up eating it. There's a chashash, and therefore we say don't plant it. And if you do, you haven't gained anything, because whatever grows out of there is truma as well. So bottom line is, giduli truma considered truma. There's another pshat in the Gemara and Shabbos that a Yisrael will try to save on his truma, he'll just replant it instead of giving it to the kain. There's a takonas chachamim. Truma growth is truma. How could Rav Yanai tell us otherwise? It's a Mishnah. Answers the Gemara. You are right in terms of the second generation. But here we're speaking about the next generation. Begedule gedulin kamrinan. You took the regrowth, replanted that, and now you have a third generation. Apparently the Chachamim did not extend their gzera that far. It's like gzera legzera. We don't reckon with the third generation. And there we say that if the added growth surpasses in quantity the replanted onion, it is now all mutter. Well, honami tanina, we have a Mishnah to that effect as well. Kidula gedulin chulin. It's the end of that previous Mishnah. The gedula gedul na chulin. That's not a chiddush of Rabbi Chanina. It's a Mishnah. Oh, Kamashmon. You know what Rabbi Chanina's chiddush is? You know what Rabbi Yanai is coming to teach us? Afilu b'davar she'ein zarikala. Not only grain or fruit where the original, planted item, the seed, etc., becomes, kala. It gets destroyed in the ground. There I can understand. I can easily understand that you don't have to reckon that much with the original item because it's no longer here. But an onion, which is ein zarei kala, the bulb remains in the ground and generates offshoot. And inside those offshoot, we have some remnants, some elements of the original onion, which is asur. Perhaps the isur extends into the gedulim. Comes Rabbi Yehuda and tells us it's not so. If the gedulim are more than the ikar, it's mutter. Well, about tanan, you cannot say that. That what? That when it's ein zarei kala, it could become mutter. We have a mishnah, tevel gedulav mutter. If one plants tevel, the gedulim are mutter. Apparently, when it comes to tevel, we don't have the takana like by truma. It's not a common thing. We don't have the same issue. But that's only b'davar shezarei kala, wheat, barley, where the seed disintegrates, where there is no trace of the original in the new growth. Aval davar she'ein zarei kala. But if it's something which remains intact, an onion, a garlic, in that case, afilu gidule asur, even way down the road, gidule, still contains a trace of that original isra. So how could Rav Yehuda tell us that gidule truma is mutter? Answers the Gemara one fundamental difference. Here we're speaking that the added growth are mevatel b'roiv. They are more numerous than the original bulb. Ribuya derabu gedulin alikarai mutar kamash malan. We're speaking that the gedulin are rabu alikarai. So he has an onion which is truma, he replants it, and the gedulin are more in number than the onion. So even though it's just one generation away, gedulin, which typically is asur, whether with rabbanan or perhaps even with the raisa, when it's ein zarei kala, because it still contains part of that original isur. But if it's batal b'roiv, meaning there are more gedulin than the original ikar, it's mevatal b'roiv and it's mutter. That's Rabbi Yehuda's chiddush. So bottom line is, when you replant something which is asur, whether it's tevel or truma, and it's ein zarei kala, and the added growth is not going to be more than the original, it's not mevatal b'roiv, then it's asur. Even gedul is not asur. But if it's just gedulin, tevel would be mutter. Sorry, if it's ein zarei kala, it would be asur. But if it's zarei kala, then when it comes to gedule truma, it's asur. Gedule tevel is mutter. Gedul is certainly mutter. And even by ein zarei kala, if the gedulin surpass the ikar, it's mutter, whether it's gedulin or gedulin. Hadran Allah, hanoidim nayarak. A fellow says, koinam yayin shani toyim hayim. And by way of neder, I am going to abstain from wine today. Until when is that? Until nightfall. Until nighttime. Until tzesek yechav. When the day is up. He says Shabbos zu. Shabbos zu means this week. Asur b'chala Shabbos. No wine throughout the rest of the week. Until and including Shabbos v'Shabbos she'avra. Shabbos at the end of the week is considered a conclusion of the previous week and is included in the neder. If he says no wine chodesh zeh this month, the entire month, until and not including Rosh Chodesh, which is considered the head of the next month and not included in the previous month. Chodesh zeh asur b'chala chodesh. V'Rosh Chodesh, however, Rosh Chodesh is lahaba, is part of the next month and excluded. It's beyond the neder's time frame. What if he says Shana Zu this year? Asur b'chala Shana, no wine throughout the rest of the year until Rosh Hashanah, but not including Rosh Hashanah. V'Rosh Hashanah la'asur lavai. So all this, if he said Zu or Zeh. Another example is Shavua Zeh. This, 7-year Shemitah cycle is asur to me. With respect to wine, what happens? Asur b'chala Shavua. No wine for the rest of the 7-year cycle. V'Shvius she'avra, and Shvius at the end of the 7-year cycle is considered a conclusion of this cycle and is included in the neder. So in all these cases, he referenced, a calendar concept. Today, this week, this month, this year, this 7-year Shemitah cycle. But let's say he referenced a unit in time. No wine for 1 day. That's 24 hours. Or he says Shabbos Achas, 1 week. That's a 7-time 24-hour cycle. Chodesh Echad, 1 month. That's a full month. Shana Achas, that's a full year. Shavua Achas, a full 7-year cycle. Shavua Echad. Asur Meyem L'Yayim. Then it's Meyem L'Yayim, which means a full cycle. A week means 7 days, 7 times 24 hours. A day means 24 hours. From today 12 until tomorrow 12, etc. What if he says Ada Pesach? No wine until Pesach. Does that include Pesach? No. Up until and not including. Asur Achiyagi, until Pesach arrives. And then he's mutter. He can have his 4 cases. But if he says Achiyah, until Pesach happens, that includes Pesach as well. Asur Achiyetzi. He can't have wine until Pesach is over. What if he says something, in between? Ad lifnei. There's a gersa, ad pnei, until the presence of Pesach. Is that up until and not including? Or is it including as well? Ad pnei Pesach, ha-Pesach. Until Pesach arrives, but not past that. You don't want to get to confusion. A person did not mean past that point. A person would commit himself even though it's not clear, and it includes even the Pesach itself. So back to the beginning of the Mishnah, Koinam Yain Shanitoyim Hayoim. It terminates at day's end. Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah, but you're meant to know. When it turns dark, he can't just pull out his bottle of wine. He must go petition the Chacham to make a Ataras Nedarim to allow him. It's a din d'Rabbanan. Why? My timer. Why is this different than any other neder? Where the neder is no longer applicable past expiry date or expiry time. There's a concern like this. He said, no wine, hayom. Hayom is up as soon as a day is up. But if we allow him to have wine at that point, he might confuse matters. He might mix it up. Next time he'll say, no wine, yoim echad, which means a 24-hour cycle. And there as well he'll say, well, day is up, not realizing it's a totally different configuration. It's a 24-hour cycle until the next day, 12 o'clock. Right? If you started at 12, it's still the next day, 12. Therefore, says Rabbi Yirmiyah, be careful. Don't just let him drink his wine, even though he said hayoim, and day is up. You're concerned that it might be confused with Yom Echad, where the neder must be maintained throughout a full 24-hour cycle until the next day at that time. Amalei Abai Ihachi, if that's a concern, Ligzor b'Yom Echad. Suppose a person says, no wine, Yom Echad, 24-hour cycle, right? From today 12 to tomorrow 12. What happens if tomorrow 12 comes? He has his wine. No! You should compel him to go to a chacham, not just to ignore his neder, right? Why? Mishum hayoim, because you just allow him to have his wine at 12 o'clock tomorrow. He might confuse it with hayoim. Right? If he says no wine today, he has to wait until nighttime. So one thing might be confused with the other one. Amalei, so Rav Yirmiyah, Rav Yosef responds like this. Over there's no concern. It's very different. Hayoim, in a case where he said hayoim, so he's standing, 12 o'clock middle of the day, no wine today, is asr until shetechshach. We say no. You can't just, have your wine freely. Because hayoim b'yom echad michlav. Because it might be confused with yom echad. Yom echad starts today at 12 and ends tomorrow at 12. Because since he's sort of cutting it short, he's cutting it down. Right? When he says Hayom, it's from now until nighttime. It's just a half a day. That might lead to doing the same when he said Yom Echad. He'll stop as soon as the day is up. Therefore, don't allow him to do it until he goes to the Chacham, who will explain it to him, etc. But Yom Echad, when he said no wine Yom Echad, starting today at 12 until tomorrow at the same time. So he waited 24 full hours. He's fully cognizant and aware of the fact that he completed his full term. There's no concern that he's going to mix it up with a case where he said Hayom, and which starts at 12 and ends at night. Meaning, when he says no wine for a full day, and he waits a full 24 hours, he's not cutting corners. He fulfilled his neder in its entirety. So next time when he says, no wine today, he'll understand that he has to wait until the end of the day. He has to fulfill his neder. There's no cutting corners. Again, but in a case where he said Hayom, today no wine, come nighttime he has his wine, so he's sort of cutting it short. It's less than a day. So in his mind he's thinking, okay, we can cut corners. And neder ends at the end of the day. So even when he'll say Yom Echad, he'll treat it likewise, instead of waiting a full 24 hours. That's the rationale behind the concern. So you can't just go drink. You have to go to the Chacham and, get familiarized with the concepts. Amar Avina, Amar li Marema. Marema told me, Hachi Amar Avuch. Your father, meaning Marema tells Ravina that your father actually explained further, Mishmei Rav Yosef, that it's not just a simple, gzeira. We never find, we're just suddenly concerned that it'll confuse, terms and expressions in Nedarim. That's not really, the full picture. Kaman Azla Shmata Rav Yirmiyah Ba'ab. This Chiddush of Rav Yirmiyah, that you have to go to the Chacham, we can't just be mata the wine right away. Which concept is it based on? Like Rabbi Nosson, the son of Rabbi Nosson, it's no good to make a neder. It's not recommended. When a fellow makes a neder, he thinks he's doing a great thing, a good deed to Hashem. Not really. Hashem already set forth everything in the Torah. Why are you adding Isurim? It's akin to building a false mizbeach, outside the Beis Hamikdash. And if one actually fulfills and keeps the neder, that's even worse. Kilu makir b'ales, as if he's bringing a carbon on that mizbeach. So bottom line is, nedarim are not recommended. So since he went and, chose this path of nedarim and isurim, combined with the fact that it can create confusion and misunderstandings, we come down hard on him. So it's a combined factor. The fact that he did something wrong to begin with, which justifies giving him a hard time so that he learns his lesson, not to do it again. Combined with the fact that, there is some room for confusion this time on account of next time, so that's why we make it a bit difficult for him, and we extend his Isra until he comes to the Rav and works it out. Now, if he says Shabbos Zu, this week, Asr B'chol Shabbos Kula, the Isra extends throughout the week, including the following Shabbos, which is a conclusion of the previous week. Pshita, of course, we know that Shabbos ends the week and is included in that week. Ma'odatema, perhaps I would say, Yom de Shabbat HaKa'amah, when he says Shabbos Zu, he didn't mean to include the subsequent Shabbos. He meant, the days of the week who relate to Shabbos. Yom Rishon b'Shabbos, Yom Sheni b'Shabbos, only the weekdays come. Ashma, no, Chiddush includes the following Shabbos as well. Chodesh ze Asur, B'chol Chodesh, V'Rosh Chodesh La'aba. He says this month will be Asur. It extends throughout the month, but stops before Rosh Chodesh, which is considered the initiation for the next month. Pshita, of course, that's why it's called Rosh, the head of the next month, right? It's not this month, it's the next month. It's added another domain. Ki tzricha, the Chiddush is L'Chodesh Chasr. So the next month is going to be a missing month, a 29-day month. But this month is a full month, a 30-day month. In which case we're going to have 2 days Rosh Chodesh. So the second day Rosh Chodesh certainly relates to the next month and is added the Neder's territory. What about the first day Rosh Chodesh? How do we treat that? Perhaps I would say Rosh Chodesh l'sha'avar havi. That the first day Rosh Chodesh belongs to this month and is included in this month's Neder. After all, it's the 30th day of this month. It's called Rosh Chodesh. but it's meant to, to complete the missing time of this month. Velitzer, it shouldn't be included in the. Sorry, velitzer. There's a gersa velitzer. That's how the Ran is gersa. It should be included in the Isra of this month. Kamashmon, the Chiddush is no. It's out of this month. The Nedarim follows common expressions, and in terms of Lashon B'nei Adam, korelei inshi reish yarcha. How do people relate to Rosh Chodesh? Rosh Chodesh. Even the first day Rosh Chodesh, which is technically part of the previous month, is labeled as considered part of the next month. In fact, the Ran learns that when you write a shtar, that's how you write it. First day Rosh Chodesh is day 1 of Rosh Chodesh. Second day is second day Rosh Chodesh, and the next day is the third day. That's how the Ran puts it, and others disagree. The Meiri brings this pshat and disagrees. He says no, just like by Yamim Tovim, we start counting from the second day Rosh Chodesh. But the Ran actually brings the Rashba that when it comes to writing a get, we're going to be machmer. So if it's first day Rosh Chodesh, we write Tzorech Lichtav. There's the third line from the bottom. The begitten Tzorech Lichtav b'yom shleishim l'chodesh Tishrei. So on the one hand, you call it day 30th of Tishrei. Shehu, and you add Shehu Rosh Chodesh Mar Cheshvan, which is also the Rosh Chodesh Mar Cheshvan, first day Mar Cheshvan. First day Rosh Chodesh Mar Cheshvan. K'dei la'achmer, in order to cover all bases. And in fact, Rabbi Tam wrote that in his own daughter's Kesuba. So brings the Tosfos here. He says like this: Psak, umiu begitten toiv lichtev shu yom shleishim l'chodesh teves. When it comes to a get, don't just follow the Lashon B'nei Adam. Incorporate all elements of that day. Call it day 30 of the previous month and Rosh Chodesh of the coming month. V'chein kasav Rabbi Tam b'ksuba as bitoy. In his own daughter's Ksuba, which was written on first day Rosh Chodesh, he called it day 30 and first day Rosh Chodesh. Continues the Gemara. Shonazu asr b'chol hashana kula. Iboilu, here comes an interesting question. Amar koinum yain shani toim yayim. So when a fellow says no wine today, hayom, we know what it is until day is up. No wine yayim echad, we know what that means as well. A 24-hour cycle starting from now. What if he uses a different lashon? Yayim. Not this nor that. Yayim. My dini, how do we treat it? Kehayim, like hayim, which terminates at the end of today, or kiyim echad, or like one day, a unit in time, a 24-hour cycle. Let's take a look at our Mishnah. Hayim is until it's dark. Let's make a diuk. Hayim. Suppose he says the word yayim. Let's treat it differently. That's like kiyim echadami. 24-hour cycle. Well, a maseifa. If you can bring a right from a diuk, let's move on to the next part. Omar yom echad. He specifies yom echad. Asar yom liyam. It's a 24-hour isur. Let's make a diuk. That's because he says yom echad. But if he just says yom hayom, we treat it kayom dami, like as if he said today. So we have conflicting implications. Elo miha leko lamashma mina. Apparently, we can't bring a right from the Mishnah. The Mefarshim explain, one lashon is dafka, and the other one is just matching. It's not necessarily going to prove us anything. We don't know which one is the dafka, so we can't resolve these conflicting inferences. Okay, bottom line, what did we learn today? We have the Shitas Rav Yanai. Even if the batzel is truma, and the batzel is davar she'ein zarei kala, and typically gidulei truma at truma, even gidulei wheat that are zarei kala is truma. Certainly, if it's ein zarei kala, it's asur min haTorah. But if the gedulim surpass, they are mevatel b'roiv, the ikar batzel, everything becomes mutter. We had a Mishnah with two general ways of expression, calendar related and time frame related. So if it's calendar referenced, today, this week, this month, this year, it extends until the end of that calendar system. If it's time related, One day is 24 hours. 1 week is 7 days, etc. When a fellow says Hayayim, technically it should end at nightfall, but we give him a hard time because it could create confusion and he shouldn't be doing it to begin with. We had a chiddush about Rosh Chodesh, even the first day Rosh Chodesh, when it comes to Nedarim, is considered part of the next month. And we had a shayla regarding Yom. Is it like Kehayim? Sorry, is it like Hayayim or like Yom Echad? We'll see you tomorrow. Be'ez Hashem. Be well and Hatzlacha Rabba to you.